Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20. Breaks free to the 25 to the 30 to the outside. 40 midfield. 40 30 to the coast. 20 15 Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Toward Bryant. He will glove it in front of Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. I just saw something in the comments that's awesome. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button. Now you're following us on Facebook. All right, but simple. But wait, go to the show's page, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning, like that page. So not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, what? Come on, man. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. Okay. And also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it. And that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. You get it? You got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, yay. Please don't tell me you didn't know we had our mobile app. Come on, man. Listen, go to wherever you get your apps from, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth, Weebolts, Gold Blast. Doesn't matter. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, and not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, and not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on a Roku channel, man, I like that kind of party, baby. All right, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. We have our own Roku channel. If you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. All right, download Sports Zone Chicago's channel right to your television. I put it there right next to Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max if you're watching Hard Knocks, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount, Stars. Ooh, reminds me, next Friday, 9 days from today, Power, the final season of Power Book 2, where Tariq's in college. Anyway, I digress. Download Sports Zone Chicago's channel to your television. You can watch us on a big screen. Hell, run a big screen right. Mickey, Fakey, now. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. You want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. You know what? Peep this morning. So I have a glass. Let me tell you the story. So you see, it's a glass of Walter Payton. I can't think. Okay, and I'm drinking freshly squeezed orange juice. Now, let me tell you something. If you've never had fresh squeezed orange juice, and I would assume, because the demographic, everyone's pretty much over 30 in here, for the most part. I would assume everyone's had freshly squeezed orange juice. I would assume. All right. You know the old saying about making an assumption, you make an ass out of you an umption. But I would assume there's nothing like fresh squeezed orange juice, man. Mariano's has it. And that's where I got this from Mariano's. There's just that taste. There's something about just fresh squeezed orange juice that's amazing. But anyway, so I had this glass. Okay, it's a Walter Payton glasses, and I use it for like when I'm out on the patio smoking a cigar, having some whiskey or some bourbon, right? And then one day I go and I see there's a crack. My mom had dropped it. She was doing the dishes and she dropped it. I was livid. Like, I'll do the dishes. Just leave it. I didn't notice it until I went to go grab it. She didn't say anything. And so for about a year, that cracked glass, say that 5 times real fast, was in the cupboard. I was like, I want to use it. And I filled it up to see if it leaked. It didn't leak, but I just didn't want to use Walter cracked. And so about 2 months ago, you know it, Jay Grizz, pulp and all. Yes. You got to have the pulp. I don't know if you can see it on the glass. The pulp's on the glass. I love it. Yes, Levette. I almost cried. And so I was just on Facebook and I was just looking up some bear stuff, on Marketplace. Because you can get a lot of stuff. You just never know what you can find. And there's actually one specific thing I'm looking for, and this glass was on sale. It's for $10. I'm like, shut the front door. As soon as I saw it, I DM'd, direct message the person. I was like, hey, is that glass still for sale? Like, yes. It's like, I'll send you the money. Just hold it for me and I could pick it up whenever, but I want that glass. And she's like, no, you can just bring it when you pick it up. I'm like, are you sure? I said, I don't want anyone to get it. He's like, no problem. So I went and I picked up the glass. I've had this glass like a month and a half, 2 months. And the other one's still in the cupboard. All right. It's not out to pasture. But I was glad. And I said, would you happen to have a second glass like this? I'm like, I'll buy both of them. She's like, no, I only have one. She said, but I do. She said, I'm not a garage sailor, but antiquer. She goes, I go around the garage sales in different places. She goes, so if I ever find any other bear stuff, she goes, you mind if I, keep your number and see if you want it? I'm like, oh my God, yes. So if I get another one of those things, I'm happy. So this is the second time I'm using this glass since I got it. All right. I love this glass, dude. I love it. But anyway, man, we got a great show for you, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or our mobile app, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll show up on the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you, baby. So bring them all. Questions, comments, smart ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. So my man, Junior Armando Lara Jr., my man, Junior, lived in Mexico. Whenever we went out for desayuno, that's breakfast, we always had freshly squeezed OJ. Ain't that something, man? I don't know what you mean, Brandon. Did the cut straddle? I don't know what that means. Did it break off or spider? I know what spider means, but I don't know what that means. Let's see. Brandon. Hey, Brandon Schutz. Good morning, Papa. He says, hey, Shawn, do you want the Astros grass? I'm getting ready. Sunglasses if you want some of it. I don't. We'll see. But anyway, listen, we got a great show for you, man. I am fired up. My man Glenn Morgan is going to join us today at 10 o'clock. We're going to talk Bears football. Obviously, he's a Bears analyst for the soon to be defunct. Was it after this weekend? Yeah. soon to be defunct NBC Sports Chicago. I think Marquee is going to have the official post-game stuff now that the NBC Sports Chicago is going to cease to exist. Wow. That'll be dope to see how who does the new, Bears post game and all that other good stuff. Interesting. But anyway, 10 o'clock, Glenn Morgan is going to join us. The man I'm fired up is good. We're going to talk about the final cuts. We're going to talk about state of the Chicago Bears. And we're going to talk about Hard Knocks from last night. Last night was a good episode. Touching episode. My mom was crying. I was like, oh, snap. Excuse me. Oh, Brandon says, I said, I got a ton of Astros cups if you want. No, thanks. I appreciate it, but no. We smacked that ass. My White Sox smacked that ass in the World Series 19 years ago. So, yeah, we're good. Cornelius Scalls, good morning, Baba. He says, to get fired up for the season, I've been watching Bear games from the 85 season. So I wonder, do they show tape of Peyton blocking? He used to destroy people. Yeah, he did. There's when you watch someone great or a great team, when you watch someone great or a great team, you look at the confidence that they have, the confidence, and the 85 Bears team had it. This team is getting it. So, Jay Grizz, SuperBack, always the ladies talking about our Cubs whenever they win. Oh, they won yesterday? Oh, yeah, that's right. We'll get to Cubs talk as well. Definitely going to talk about the Cubs. They're on fire. They're on fire just when they thought that they were going to let you down, and they go to work. I'm pretty impressed with what they're doing. So we're definitely going to get to that. But at 10 o'clock, our man, Glenn Morgan, is going to call and join us, and I'm looking forward to that. I can't, you know what, Jay Grizz, just a little talk. You guys are in second place. You're 9 games back. You're probably not going to win the division, but you're 9 games back. And, you're 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you're tied with San Fran. 2 games behind New York. And a game behind Atlanta. No, 3. So you got a shot. You guys actually do have a shot now. So we'll definitely talk a little Cubs for you. For all my Cub fans, excuse me. We'll talk a little Cubs for you. I don't want you to be upset with me because I don't talk Cubs. Yes, you are. You are 1 game above. Jay Grizz writes, and I want to hear something funny. I actually have that. Oh, shoot. That banner. Oops. Yeah, I have that ready to go. So we will do that. We'll talk about about your Cubs. Because I know you guys are fired up, and you should be. All right. I know a lot of people are frustrated with the Cubs. All right, because it just seems like they got you all excited, and then they lose some games. And at this stage of the season, now is not a good time to be losing games. Now is not a good. The thing is, you got to win. You got to sweep. When a situation arises, you have to sweep. And but it sounds harsh, but this is a situation that the Cubs put themselves in. All right, so there's no one to blame but themselves, and they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job of it right now. They're doing a good job of staying staying in the picture. So, I'm not going to say that I'm actively rooting against the Cubs. I mean, I think you already know I am, but I don't have to say it. That's a shame. It's like most people just can't be happy. Like Sox fans can't be happy for Cub fans, and Cub fans can't be happy for Sox fans for the most part. All right, there's some people who are. Not all of them are meatheadish like me and the majority of the fan base. Not all of them, but Anyway, let's get to it, baby. Let's get right to it because I'm anxious to talk to Glenn today, and it's gonna be good. So, guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Let's see. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? I know which way do we go. Where'd you go? The Cubs. There you go, baby. CJ Grizz, we start off with your peoples. The Cubs, they beat the Pirates 9-5 yesterday. Justin Steele got the win. He's 5-5 on the season. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 punch-outs. Seiya Suzuki 2 for 4 with a homer, his 19th of the season, driving in his 62nd and 63rd runs of the year. Dansby Swanson was 1 for 2 with a homer, his 12th of the year, driving in 3 RBIs, 48th, 49th, and 50th on the season. Victor Amaya this dude is on fire. Lord have mercy. Another great game, 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, 36th and 37th of the season. Jay Grizz, just for you, Papa. Here you go. Cubs are above 500 for the first time in 3 months. 3 months. It took you a while. A little too much bullshitting and acting like you got time, and now you barely have time. But the next top of the morning topic, keeping it with the Cubs. The Cubs with the sweep. Oh, let me get that out of there. Let me put this in scroll mode. Jay Grizz, we'll leave this up for you, Papa, while we do this. The Cubs look for the sweep today in Pittsburgh. First pitch is 11:35 a.m. Central, our time. So don't forget, they're an hour ahead. So it's 12:35 over there in Steeltown. You can catch that game on the Marquee Network, or you can catch it on 670 a.m. That's their flagship station. All right. Where'd you go? See, goodness. Interesting. See, I forgot to do that. There you go. The probables for today. Kyle Hendricks is on a bump for the Northsiders. He's 3-10 with a 6.33 ERA going up against Paul Skeens, rookie phenom. He's 8-2 with a 2.16 ERA. Good times for the Cubs. Cub fans are excited. They're happy. They're pumped up. I get it. You should be. All right. You should be. I think, you watch for so long, they were frustrating, and you can hear it from people who are Cub fans watching this show, and we'd talk about the frustrations that Cub fans actually had with the team. And I get it. Believe you me, I get it, because baseball is one of those things that a lot of relationships are born or forged. Let me put it that way. Through baseball. All right. Parents with their kids, friends growing up in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And so when your team is bad, like, it takes you back, and it's frustrating because many times many times, you have good memories of that team. And not whether the team's good or not. It's like you get there, you'll spend time like I'd go to Sox Park with my boys. Or I'd go, people would go with their parents or their dad or their mom, and they'd sit and cheer. And you sit in the old stadium. Well, Cubs is still an old stadium. Okay, never mind. But you sit in Old Comiskey, or you go in the shower right in center field, and and you go to the old stadium. Remember having to walk up the stairs to the second balcony because that's the only tickets that your parents could afford back in the day. Like all those build memories, So I get it. I get it when people get frustrated with your team because there's a lot of good memories involved with them, and the fact that they're not doing good now, kind of, it's bothersome. So I get it. So should we do this one or not? You know what? We'll skip because I was gonna do this top of the morning topic, but I was like, you know what? Let me do this other one. We can hold this one off until we get back from commercial. Excuse me. The next top of the morning topic. The Sky, baby. The Sky. They host the Washington Mystics tonight at Wintrust Arena. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Central Time. You can catch that game on the Marquee Network. Now, the Sky really they got to get it. They got to get their act together. All right, they 1-3, if I'm not mistaken, after coming off the Olympic / All-Star break. They got to get it together. All right, they got to get it together. They're 11-18, I believe, after that tough loss to Vegas. And you can't keep losing games like that and expect to be relevant toward the end of the year. Goodness, I get my newspaper. I love my newspaper. Yeah, the Sky are 11-18. Not even 500. Man. They got to do what the Cubs did. Inch closer and closer and closer to the 500 mark. What? Let's see. Oh. King Booker World. Good morning, Papa. My squad is trash water, so I'm putting cases on the Cubs. I didn't go through most of the people I didn't say good morning to my people in the chat. Let me do that real quick before we go to break. Because the chat is jumping. Lord have mercy. Yeah, jumping. We're active this morning. I like it. So Jay Grizz in the house. He said, don't ever say Puerto Ricans are late because I'm here early. You were here early, Papa. You're the first one in. I like it. I even wrote, I was like, Jay Grizz in the house early. Cornelius Squalls in the house. What up, Papa? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. What's up? He says, what's up? What up? Sports owners, we're all set to go for now, at least. Levette Lee's in the house. Good morning, Mama. Thank you. She writes, happy hump day, y'all. It is hump day. My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. My man Junior's in the house. Thank you for joining us, Papa. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And when I was laughing when it came on the air, so Junior and I played ball together. He was one of my offensive linemen. And we told a story about UNITY. So now you guys in the chat. So Jay Grizz. I saw Jay Grizz. He wrote, Armando, he goes, huddle up. And then Armando, like he did back when we were playing, he said, UNITY. Just something crazy, something silly. We're silly. We got jokes. We're funny. Yeah, funny how. That's how we are. But my man Plank is in the house. Good morning, brother. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Who else? And then Brandon Schutz is in the house. Good morning, Papa. Again, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And Off the Dub is in the house. He's joined us this morning. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. I appreciate you. Let's see what else. Everybody else is just exchanging pleasantries throughout the chat. And then King Booker World checks in. I like it. I like it a lot. Listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know this. More of the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. Off the Dub says the most beautiful city in the world. All eyes on us. Yes. Chicago is, especially in summer, and the summer's wrapping up, but you get the boats on the lake, you get the skyline. Man, dude. Man. Jay Grizz, you better watch your mouth. You heard Justin Fields or Russell Wilson might pitch for the Pirates. That's funny because they both played baseball. That's hilarious. But as I said, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know that more of the usual suspects are going to chime in as the show goes on. All right, so we're going to get ready. We're going to take a quick break because on the other side of the break, we are going to hit the final top of the morning topic. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Gonzalez with 2 on, nobody out.
On the ground towards third, diving play, Paredes. Long throw from his knees and picked by Bellinger. Well done by Isaac Paredes, and a great job of digging it by Cody Bellinger.
Just in the nick of time over to Bellinger.
His first time.
Swing a drive to right, down the line, in the corner. That ball is up against it's over the wall. It's a two-run homer. Sayas is with a man at third. Infield in. Dansby drives one in the air, deep right center. Back toward the wall, it's got a chance. Gone! A two-run homer for Dansby Swanson.
And it's 5-2. He crushes that one. Mom and Dad in the house. Mom and Dad watching. And you homer?
Yeah, they're going to have to take him out for ice cream after the game.
Nancy's birthday today, so he just hit a home run for Nancy.
Happy birthday, Nancy!
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Marquee Network. Those were the Cubbies. Cubbies yesterday. They brought out the Northside Lumber Company yesterday. Woo-wee. Couple of home runs yesterday in a victory. What was it? A 9-5 win yesterday. Working 9-5. Is that what it was? 9-5 over in Pittsburgh. As I said, looking for the sweep today. And so right after the show, the game starts. So you'll be able to, if you're home or you're not working, you'll be able to, or if you are working, you can check the radio. Listen to the radio, or I guess online. No one listens to the radio anymore. All right. But keeping it moving, the next top of the morning topic. Let's go. Which was the White Sox. The White Sox game against the Texas Rangers was suspended yesterday due to rain and will be made up today as part of a doubleheader. Let me tell you something. Here's something that was really, really, really funny. Well, I don't know if it was really funny. Let me rephrase that. So the game got canceled, or I should say postponed. All right, due to the rain. Okay. Now, yesterday was the hottest day of the year here in Chicago. If you're not in the Chicagoland area, it hit 99 degrees yesterday. All right. It was really, really, really hot, obviously. Okay. But a lot of times what happens with those extreme heats is that it can cause some storms. All right. It can cause storms. And there were some crazy, crazy, crazy storms yesterday. And so we're thinking about looking at it like, wow. You know, it came down, and in the White Sox game, Garrett Crochet was on the bump. He got 4 pitches in. 4 pitches in. So he threw 4 pitches yesterday in the game. So I don't know what the Sox are going to do today. All right, in game 1, Andrew Heaney's on the bump for the Rangers. All right, he's 4-13 with a 4.04 ERA. Going up against Chris Flexen for the White Sox, who's 2-12 with a 5.34 ERA. Game 2. All right. Jack Leader is on the bump for Texas. He's 0-1 with a 16.39. Ouch. 16.39 ERA against TBD or TBA to be announced. So Sox, we don't even know who the Sox are going to pitch. And my question is, why don't you just pitch Crochet? But there's already, they might shut him down. They might shut him down. And that sucks. That sucks. Yeah. You know, I don't know what they're doing with this guy. So according to Sun Times, Daryl Van Schouwen, who covers the White Sox, he said, so in the clubhouse, again, according to Daryl Van Schouwen, he says interim manager Grady Sizemore said a shutdown, quote, could be a corner, unquote. All right. But the senior advisor pitching, Brian Bannister, said that I think he's going to continue to pitch, even though it's an abbreviated sense right now. So I don't know what they're going to do with this guy. All right, you're going to shut him down because you want to trade him in the offseason. You don't want him to get hurt. Or you're going to keep him in the offseason and you shut him down so he doesn't get hurt. I mean, if this isn't the most asinine and embarrassing thing you could ever have seen or an organization can do, I don't know what is. They're pretty close. And they're doing just dumb stuff. And this organization continues to be the epitome or the model, okay, for incompetence. The model for incompetence. We all know the old saying, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. It's what the White Sox are doing. Or maybe are they expecting different results? All right. Are they? Are they just trying to do what apparently Reinsdorf's other team is doing, is stay competitive? Because they're not even competitive. But are they trying to get back to that just competitive state so people go? I don't know. So I got an email. And I didn't know how to respond to it. So my cousins and I were planning, we were supposed to go to a Sox game. We were going to get a suite. It's just a thing to get all the cousins together. It's a little cheaper in the Sox. Easier to get tickets than the Cubs because most of my cousins are Cub fans. But they said, yeah, we'll meet. And then they were like, I don't even want to go to the game. Like, why would I go to the game when they're going to get blown out? Or they're going to lose. It's going to be a shit game. And I'm like, I get it. I'm like, but it's a cousin outing, that whole thing. My mom is one of 10 siblings, and 8 of those siblings are gone. Okay, so it's just her and my Aunt Monica. I'm like, let's keep our generation, pretty close. But I understand, like, they don't want to spend, it's going to be like $150 per person. And like, man, I don't want to do this. So I got this email saying, hey, are you still interested in a suite? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I didn't respond yet, but I'm trying to figure out how to respond nicely. But like, if I was talking to the guy, I'd be real, because you can understand tone. You can understand. I mean, you hear tone, so you get it. I don't want to send an email where tone is not noticeable, because I'd say, hey, look, I got, they decided against it. They decided, the product, they didn't want to pay all that money to see a team most likely lose. All right. They just didn't feel that it was worth their investment, time-wise or monetarily, or financially, to come to the game for what the product on the field is. And I think he would have understood it. And maybe if I sent the email, he might get it as well, but I have to send it. Not have to, but I'm going to send an email back and just let him know that that's pretty much it. Because no one's paying $150, $270 to go watch the White Sox. Crazy. It's a mug. Oh man, I'll tell you, that's something else. Anyway, the next top of the morning topic, the Bears. The 4th episode of Hard Knocks with the Bears aired last night. And man, oh man, was it good. The they went more into the personal side because it drew out. Man, Moms was crying. All right, I love how they're focusing on the players, and they focused on a couple of good ones. The one that was really, really tough was Ian Wheeler. All right, Ian Wheeler is the backup running back or the undrafted running back out of wasn't out of Howard. Is it Howard? Anyway, dude runs a 4.3. He runs hard. It looks good. Yeah, he is out of Howard. This guy had a legitimate shot. Now, this guy is unbelievably smart. He is going to med school. He put off med school, okay, to chase his dream in the NFL. He put off his acceptance to med school, and it's great to watch them. So they showed a lot about him, and I thought it was great. And they also showed him being injured and kind of limping off the field and realizing after an MRI that he tore his ACL. He's out for the season. Man, it got really real yesterday with that, and because his mom was in the stands, so they were showing his mom. So my question is this, like, of all the footage that they have, like, how many cameras do they have in the stands? You know, like, how many cameras? Because they had a camera on his mom the whole time. They had a camera on I can't remember the DB name. AC was his name. Coulter, number 25. Who was kind of like a journeyman, his 8th team in 10 years, they said. I'm trying to look for the Adrian Colbert is the guy who got, and they talked about his story. He got a little emotional. HBO did a really good job. And you know, Adrian Colbert, I said he was 9. Before the game, he said he was excited. He was going to play a game. I guess it was a championship game. He led his team to the championship, and he went to go ride his bike with his equipment on. And he said, and he explained it. He said, you know, I went through the stop sign. He goes, I didn't stop at the intersection. He said, and there was a lady who didn't stop at the stop sign, ran a stop sign, and hit him. He had his full equipment on. Said he was in a coma for like 2 weeks. Crazy, crazy, crazy story. You know, and you talk, and he got a little emotional. You know, and had to take a second to regroup. And it was something like you said, and to see him, he was just like, and they said he would never play again. You know, I mean, he literally almost died. And that was a crazy story. Then you saw the Wheeler thing. And King Booker World, you hit it on the head, man. King Booker World said that Wheeler clip, the Ian Wheeler clip with his mom right in the fields. Because that was a hug. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. No, Brandon, it's on HBO Max. That's where the Hard Knocks is. But the hug that Ian Wheeler had, because his mom was fired up. She had his jersey on and everything. 33 Wheeler in the back she was wearing. She had her hair did. I loved it. just supporting her son, and that hug, King Booker World, I feel it. My mom was crying, it was tough. That hug was long, and that was a frustrating hug. That was a hug of sadness, of dejection, of frustration, and that hug literally was for about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. Yeah. If you've ever hugged, I've hugged people that long, and it's usually been at like funerals. I've had a good 45-second, a minute hug with somebody, a good friend of mine, and their parent passed away, and that I know that they were very close to, and I hadn't seen them in a while, and they looked, and we'd go back, and that hug just for you talk. The reason hugs are awesome because you transfer energy, all right, with people, and you can see the sadness that he had. Try not. He felt like, I don't think he felt like he let his mom down, because we either didn't. He did everything, but he wanted to make this team, and he was sad. And then his mom was a strong one. Just she had him, and I think the one thing she said was, God's timing, or or something like that. And it was great. It was great, and it goes to show you that the humanization of players. Because a lot of people only care about players because they're on their fantasy team or because they play for their favorite football team. And they look at them, they consider them, assets, property, commodities. They don't look at them as people. There's a human side to it, and because of the fact that we're Bears fans, we like every other fan base tend to do that as well. James Ford in the house. Good morning, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. And I love how HBO does it, and it brings that human side out, because Ian Wheeler has to. I think Ryan Poles did a great thing. This is why you love Ryan. I love Ryan Poles, and I'm sure it's a reason why a lot of other people love Ryan Poles. Is that he's like, we're going to put you on IR, so you can still, but you're going to be with the team. And he goes, if you ever need anything, he goes, the door is always open. My phone's always on. So if you need anything, come. He goes, I don't want you to get stagnant mentally, because I want you around the team. I want you around the players. He goes, and he told him, the whole staff was rooting for you. And that was great. All right. When you see stuff like that resonates throughout the NFL. Believe you me, when it's free agent time and free agents have a choice of where they're going to sign, that goes a long way. Seeing what your GM said to that young man was awesome. Yeah, Black Diamond's exactly what we're talking about. The door is always open. Remember he said that? And thank you for tuning in, Papa. I appreciate it. Says the door is always open. My phone's always on. Don't be calling me at 2 a.m. and shit, but you know what I mean? And yeah, that's a lot. That means a lot. And not only did he hear that, but guess what? Millions and millions of people around the world, especially in the NFL world, saw that. How he takes care of his players, looks after his players. That's dope. To me, that's dope. So, and then moving on to the next top of the morning topic. The Bears trimmed their roster to 53. Woo, Charlie. There were some interesting selections or people who remain. Let's go through it quickly, and then we'll go to break. by the time we get through it, we'll go to break and it'll be time for our guy Glenn. This is from the Chicago Bears. Let me get this out of the way so you can see it. So the quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent. I don't think there's any surprise there. I think Austin Reed may be a practice squad player. I think Tyson Bagent has looked so freaking good. He has looked so freaking good this preseason. My goodness. Here's a young man full of confidence and his ability, calmness, leadership. I love it. Love where Tyson Bagent is at. Here we go. Wide receivers and running backs. Wide receivers, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze. They kept Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, and DeAndre Carter. Now, I don't know if they're going to, if you want to classify Velus Jones as a wide receiver. I don't know. But the running backs are DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, and Travis Homer. But we remember that Velus Jones has been working with running backs, and I think that kind of solidified his spot on the team. Offensive line, Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones, Tevinjenkins, Ryan Bates, although he was hurt, Nate Davis, Bill Murray, not the comedian, Coleman Shelton, Doug Kramer, kid out of Illinois, Matt Pryor, and ENCORE Amagaji, the kid out of Yale, who was just activated to start practice the other day. Really, Cornelius, you are all in on this 2024 Bears, man. Cornelius Squall's right. This team doesn't have the record yet, but I feel this is the most complete Bears team since '85. Yeah, I disagree with you. I think what's the 13 team? The 13 team when with Jay Cutler, Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, Matt Forte, Martellus Bennett, Urlacher, Briggs, Peanut. I think that was, I think that team was complete. I definitely think that team was complete. But I hear you. I understand what you're saying. The tight ends, you kept all three. Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, and Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes, the old man of the crew. And then defensive line, Montez Sweat, DeMarcus Walker, Andrew Billings, Darrell Taylor. Man, Dominique Robinson made it. Chris Williams, the guy they just traded for. Daniel Hardy was one. I was really happy. Man, they did it. They kept a bunch of them. Daniel Hardy, Zach Pickens, Austin Booker, Gervon Dexter. But Dominique Robinson, D-Rob, Daniel Harding, I liked it. I like the Daniel Harder keep. I do. Big time. Big time. Then the linebackers. Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, those are the starters. But Jack Sanborn, the jackhammer, I like that key. Noah Sewell. Man, listen, let me tell you. When you're there, when you're one of their draft picks, they're going to give you as much rope as you need, as many chances as possible to succeed. Look at Velus Jones. Now Noah Sewell. Noah Sewell, man, had been injured a lot. You also had Amin Bemiga. I'm screwing up his name. I apologize. But kept him over Micah Baskerville. I'm talking Noah Sewell. They kept him over the Micah Baskerville. Yeah, they're going to give you a much longer rope if you're one of their draft picks. And I like Noah Sewell. But I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it. I like it. I want him to do well. I really, really do. And then we'll finish up. We'll finish up in a second. Sorry about that. All these crazy things are happening. Here's the DBs. Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, then Jonathan Owens, Mr. Simone Biles, Elijah Hicks, Jalen Jones, Terrell Smith, and Josh Blackwell. What was tough is that the Reddy Stewart, man, I was hoping he could stay because that boy is a ball hawk. But I think he's definitely eligible for the practice squad. And then the specialists, Cairo Santos, the kicker, Torrey Taylor, the punter and the holder, and Patrick Scales, the long snapper. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But some of these guys are going to be back. My man, Kari Blasingame was released as well, but they're expected to sign him. I think they're going to put one of the linemen on ER or IR and bring Kari Blasingame back. I think that's a smart move. He's going to be a huge part of this offense moving forward. But here's what I'm going to do. We got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my guy, Glenn Morgan. You're a damn fool. Why does Cairo Santos look like Robin Thicke? King Book of World coming out firing. Bang, bang. That's hilarious. My guy, Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago is going to join us on the other side. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
Freshman who's fighting for a roster spot as well.
Picked off. Red zone turnover there for Oladoke and Reddy Stewart with the interception. 1,209 yards and 8 touchdowns. This time, no place to go. It's going to be a loss of a yard on the play. Oladoke and blitz is coming. Moving to his left, now to his right. He's going to take off, throw it downfield. Tony's there. But broken up at the last possible second.
Inside, and now let's see who's bringing pressure.
Ripping up the field, looking for Scott. He's got the football. Tyler Scott. That was a gorgeous throw there from Rippin.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the NFL Network. That was our Chicago Bears as they manhandled the defending champions. Spank that ass. Spank that ass. I was like, yeah, baby, baby. Our second team and third team is better than your second and third team, Mother Hubbards. That's what I'm talking about, baby. But that was good to see. The one thing that I did like to see, and I'm going to bring Glenn in a moment, but the one thing that I love to see, and I'll talk about it, I actually said it before, is I really liked the intensity that the second and third team played. I know a lot of it had to do with trying to make the team, but man, you're trying to score, you're trying to win, you're trying to show out, and I loved it. I loved how the intensity didn't drop off. All right, it was on point from Jump Street. For those of you who may not, the intensity was there the entire game. And I loved it. All right, you're looking for guys who are trying to fill their NFL dreams. You're looking for guys trying to maintain their NFL dreams. All right, keep it going, get another year or two of those command. You're going to be getting a lot of them checks, man. You know, you leave the NFL, and I'm not saying it's impossible. I would never say that because it's very possible. But, man, you ain't going to be getting 10, 12,000 a week like you do. I think it's 12.5 for a practice squad player. 12.5 a week. You better have a good-ass job or learn how to trade stocks or get some crypto or something to make $12,500 a week. So the intensity was there, all right, but also pride in that unit, like the offensive and defensive unit. The defense, whoo, you know, they want to be part of that special defense, which is why they showed out. Reddy Stewart, man, they know, you know, they're going to reach out to him and say, you're on the practice squad. I just hope no one plucks him. We're going to bring in my guest because we got to talk about this, about the squad, the 53. We're talking about last night's episode and his thoughts in general. Man, he is a football analyst over at NBC Sports Chicago, a good friend of the program. And, man, you can find him on Twitter at True Glenn Morgan. Guys, let's welcome back to Sports Zone Chicago, excuse me. Our guy, Glenn Morgan. I don't even know what program we're on. What program are we on? Glenn, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Shawn? How's it going, brother?
Good.
Looking blurry there. I don't know
yeah, I just noticed that as well. Did you put your finger on to get a fingerprint or something?
I don't know, man. That's not good. Actually, that probably never looked so good. It's probably the best I've looked in quite some time.
Well, while you figure that out, we'll talk about it. Hard Knocks was on yesterday. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, and just
well,
like
there you go.
Just like magic, it's back. Hard Knocks. Now, what is this show you speak of? Hard Knocks? Is this a prison
it's a new show they have on HBO, and it's
one of those prison shows. Is that what it is?
Something like that. Yeah. It's you know, don't drop the soap. That whole deal.
Don't drop the soap. Yeah. Yeah, man. Most definitely checked it out. You know, it's must see TV if you're in Chicago Bear fan, and if you want to talk about Chicago sports, particularly the Bears at this point in time, because the Sox aren't worthy of talking, and I'm not a Cubs fan, so moving right along.
Who's that? Who is these Sox you talk of?
Hey, man, they're the best at being the worst. You got to be the best at something.
All right, we'll go with that one. They're in the history. They'll be in history book for something.
Historic, epically. Yeah, man, definitely checked it out. And it is, you know, Hard Knocks is, you know, it's always going to be tough for somebody because you're watching guys fight to make the team, and then every so often they bring in a player or two who you get attached to. And unfortunately, you see their dreams, at least for the time being, unrealized. And we really got a chance to get into the mind and spirituality of AC Colbert Adrian. And unfortunately, he's one of the guys that didn't make the team. I mean, he had, in your highlight, he made a great play. I mean, that was a hell of a play coming across the field. I mean, that was a sure touchdown and batting the ball away. And here's a guy who's a veteran. He's been in the league for some time. And really, his story just a testament to who and how he is as a person. And you want a guy like that to make the team. You know, when he doesn't, you're a little crestfallen. You know, it stings a little bit, if nothing else. So yeah, and Reddy as well. You see him making plays. Now, I'll say this, and you 2 pick sixes. He doesn't stumble and fall. Maybe he's on the team. No, I'm not going to knock him for that. But no stretching the means. A great young player, like you said. His awareness. It's not like he has all the athleticism in the world, or the length, or the speed, or he doesn't have that, the certain je ne sais quoi in terms of athleticism that you're looking for. But his awareness, his understanding, his ability to make plays on the ball. You mentioned ball hawking, not dropping passes. You know, that's one thing to get it in fall. But how many times did we talk about Jalen Johnson struggling for years to get an interception? It wasn't until last year he put it together and got 4 picks. That can be held against you. And you can't hold that against Reddy. He was making a pick. He was making the plays. And as you mentioned before, the second and the third team, you joked about how they whooped up on Kansas City's second and third team. But it's true. I mean, yeah, everybody's trying to make, all 32 teams have all their second and third units, and arguably special team guys, all the guys on the periphery, on the fringes of making team. Everyone's fighting hard to make the team. So that's true for everybody. But these Bears, they play a little differently. And especially in the secondary, especially the defense, but especially that secondary, man, that is an awesome secondary. And I'll say this right quick. This in the 50 years or so that I can recall of watching Bears football, might be the deepest quarterback room in terms of competency and effectiveness and efficiency that I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that lightly. I mean, Reed's let go, and young guy, I like his upside. And Rippon looked like a professional's professional. And Bajan obviously has improved from where he was last year. He looks more confident. He looks a little bigger, looks a little stronger. And obviously we had the #1 pick. I mean, this is a very deep receiving room. I thought the quarterback room was deep, the running back room. I mean, a lot of these units look good 1 through 2 and 3 in terms of their activity, in terms of how they're playing, how they're getting after it all. And what does that boil down to? Obviously, a testament to the players and what they're doing to put their first and second foot forward so that they can be professionals. But the coaching staff is what I'm getting at. This seems to be a better coaching staff. I've taken that from the Hard Knocks episodes as well. And offensively, these guys look like they know where they need to be. Where I couldn't say that the last couple of years. There were times, even during the season, where players looked like they were out of position or didn't quite understand what was being asked of them. I believe everybody here understands what's being asked of them. And when an athlete knows what to expect, what to be asked of them, and they know how to go about it, their ability to execute is that much more exponentially intensified. And you see them being able to play free, be able to play to the best of their ability. And that's what coaches are supposed to do. And that's what I think so far, what we've seen in the preseason, that's what I've taken away from it.
Man, Glenn, truer words are never spoken. And, I've made the same statement, but in regarding the Bulls back in the 90s, all right, everybody in what it is a coach gives everybody a role. Here's what I need you to do, period. I don't need you to, it could be the same position, but I don't need you doing what I need him doing. And when you clarify a role for a player, man, it takes all the restrictions off, because now I know what I need to do and I can go at it 100 miles an hour.
Right.
And I think that is not only is that great coaching, but it's also great scouting. So you got guys who are coachable. You got guys who are about the program and understand and go after it. And you have great guys. Like, tell me that Ian Wheeler moment with his mom for like 45 seconds, a minute, if not more. Yeah. That didn't get you, man.
Longer than I would have liked.
Yeah,
they could feel away. But yeah, you're right, and you feel for him because probably the last couple episodes, you're like, are they on him too much? Can he handle it? He seems like too nice of a guy. They even mentioned that in the last episode. Like, hey man, stop being so nice. You
right.
got the speed. Translate your speed to power. Those kind of things. And so you got coaches coaching him, and you see him slowly start to come out of his shell a little bit.
Yeah.
agree. And his mom in the stands. I mean, it's like, to have the mics where they were, and so you're catching the nuances of the conversations that Mrs. Wheeler is having, as well as the Reeds, and even Bajan's dad, of course, who's a show stealer in his own right.
Yeah.
All those things help tell the story a little bit more, help you get a little more closer to who these people are as individuals, as people, not just the athletes that we see, not just as these weekend warriors that we pay to watch. And for Wheeler, it's like, was the injury a blessing in disguise to some degree? Maybe just for 1 year, because I'm not quite certain if he wouldn't have been cut. I don't know if they would have kept him per se. Bayless, for a variety of reasons, has been someone who's been able to make the team the last couple of years, and he really showed out as a running back and his potential to going forward. Not only that, but also serving as a special teams person. And Wheeler ran back some kickoffs when he was at Howard as well, so that ability's there. But him having the ACL injury, it looks like, okay, hey, he's on IR, so he at least has another year, and collecting a paycheck, it don't hurt.
Bingo. Well, his paychecks might be that way. He's going to be a doctor, so his paychecks, he might see something like 10 grand a week if it ends up being a doctor. So, but it did show. I liked the way Ryan Poles came across when he came and just said, the door's always open. My phone's always on. He goes, I don't want you to get mentally stale. He goes, I want you to be around the guys. He goes and give you another crack at it. And he talked about, the whole staff was rooting for you. Like, that's the type of stuff. And I don't know if you caught that, but like, that resonates. Not only did we watch it, but millions of other people around the country and other players are going to hear about that. So I'm thinking, when if I'm a free agent, do I want to go to Chicago? Well, look, this is the kind of GM that I'm going to be playing for. Hold on, player. This is the kind of guy I think I might want to play for. You know what I mean? That goes a long way, especially since we haven't had the best history of bringing free agents. We had a decent, but man, finally Chicago's the destination for people, where people want to come here, and it hasn't been like that in a long, long time. So it was, hats off to Chef Poles. He's cooking as always, and I was really, really, loved what he did with the Ian Wheeler situation. But are you okay? Let's go to the quarterback room. Let's talk about some of the cuts. All right, we talked about Reddy Stewart. All right, the youngster, the kid is a ball hawk, and my guy Nomad was telling me about it before the draft. He's like, we got to get this guy. This guy's good. And I watched some film. I'm like, oh wow, okay, I like it. I'm like, but can he edge his way in? Can he elbow his way in that room? Because like Ryan Poles said, it's gonna be tough to make this team, and he didn't make it. Any thoughts on him? Practice squad guy, or is he going to be on a practice squad for long?
Yeah, that's the thing. I referenced earlier that he's a person who, although athletically doesn't blow you away when you look at his physical attributes, when you watch him play, he knows how to play football. He's a football player.
He's a gamer. Yeah, football player, yeah.
And he's not out of position, and that's very important, especially for a young player. It's easy to get out of position when especially when you're not getting the reps per se. So yeah, I think that's definitely someone the Bears should have on the practice squad. But to your point, is he going to stay there long? Here's where Hard Knocks might work against you, because everyone else kind of casually gets to watch it, where they may not have been paying as much attention. Excuse me. They may not have been paying as much attention if they're casually watching the show. It's like, oh, man, I got to stick out a little bit, Same thing with Colin Johnson. I mean, I like the way Colin Johnson played early on, and it's just, other guys that the person's not on the squad, Wheeler, the injury is probably going to preclude anybody from taking him, but he's got upside too. So yeah, I mean, I guess, what it shows is that the Bears are doing a better job of bringing in the type of talent that can make plays, that there's a certain type of player that plays with awareness, plays with intensity, and a player that physically can do the things that they ask of them to do, even though they may not necessarily have the size. So if you don't have that size, I'm not going to have you play head up against this person. Maybe I have you playing, in the slot, or maybe I have you playing somewhere where you're just coming on third down if it's defensively, or if you're a running back, or if you're like Velus Jones. I'm not going to have you running between the tackles. That's not your strength. I don't need you to do that I need you more on the perimeter, So we're starting to see now where there's a plan, and you're starting to fill in players to fill out that plan. And that's what you want to see. And that's the progression that, we wouldn't see. This is what becomes, when we talk about sustainability, this is what we're talking about. You're able to find these players. You're creating a culture. I'll use all the buzzwords: sustainability, culture, But this is what you're doing, and this is what this looks like. And this was something that we haven't had. Even back in 2018, what we had was more of immediacy, not sustainability. And we had the immediacy of a good season that was not sustainable as it bore out season after season. Here, we look like we're moving in the opposite direction, which is the trajectory that you want to go in, where you are building something that was more foundational. There's a lot of ways to build a sandcastle, man. We've talked about it before. Everyone's had ideas from, trading picks to getting a horde of picks, or doing what we're doing now and building around a number one pick. And there's different ways to build a sandcastle, but regardless of whether you're building a sandcastle or you're building an apartment, whatever the complex is, the infrastructure, you want to have a sound foundation. And I think that's what Poles is establishing. And I would say it's close to being established, but it's still in that process. But it's a lot more foundationally sound than we've seen over the last decade or so. And that's a testament to him being patient, being observant, being meticulous, his coach, his scouting staff, the whole staff down. You mentioned all the names, but that's when you have a good organization. As the hockey people,
all my say. Canadian people,
yes, but is that, and that's when you become organizationally, effective, and then that's when other people start seeing where you're being successful, and they start mining the people that you've developed, and then that's the way the NFL is structured now. That can also still benefit the Bears in the long run as well. So yeah, man, everything is right now, trajectory wise. I said before, projecting the Bears to be a competitive team, a playoff caliber team, or playoff challenging team. And then you get to the point to where you're a consistent playoff team. And then you have the point to where you're a Super Bowl contender. It's very rare you go from we suck to Super Bowl contender. and then if you do, be wary of that, because how sustainable is that? Because you got there really quickly, you can just as easily fall back just as precipitously in a negative fashion. So yeah, man, I like what Poles is doing. So even if there's through attrition, because football is such an attrition-related sport, and I've always talked about, I'm still concerned about the depth, especially on both lines. But even with that being said, if there is a quote-unquote setback, you don't expect it to be one that's a precipitous fall. It's not something that's you can just fall off the precipice of the mountain and be like, I didn't see that coming. There are several branches before we get to the bottom. Right. And that's because you built it along, and that's great, man. And hopefully we can see some fortuitous wins. I mean, that's not going to be an easy schedule. The NFL schedules, they look easy on paper, and then when you start playing them, they look more difficult. Sometimes they look more difficult, turn out being a little bit easier than you thought. Again, injuries play a part when you catch a team. All those kind of things come into play. But looking ahead, I don't think there's any team on our schedule that we cannot beat. And conversely, that means we can still possibly be beat by them as well. But it feels so much better going in knowing that, okay, I don't have to count all of these as losses. Like last year, okay. Last year you went in, you're like, oh, that's a loss, that's a loss, that's a loss, that's a loss. If this goes well, if we catch them here, you start, parsing where you're going to get your wins. Here you go in saying, all right, the Texans game, that looks to be the most difficult early on. And then later on, you say, okay, maybe Frisco. And then you're like, maybe the division because it's late, but we know we can compete. As opposed to last year, we were like, we should be able to. Now we're like, no, we know we can compete. We know that. So yeah, man. I probably asked a short question. I took like a 17-minute answer for you to it, but that's why you bring me on and just talk.
That's exactly why I bring you on. See other perspectives. And I'm tired of hearing my own damn self talk. Yeah, and you know what? And you're right. I like the fact that there is no for sure loss. Like, I think the Texans might be the toughest, and we'll probably lose that. But I can see us winning that.
Yeah,
I can easily see us win. I can see our defense snapping. I can see, us getting the CJ Stroud. I can see a pick or two. You know what I mean? I can see all that. Special teams. I see all that. So we didn't have that last couple of seasons. We're like, like you said, we'd have to say, well, this and this and this and this and this and this go right, then we have a chance. Now it's like, no, if our defense shows up, as long as the defense gets off the bus, we got a shot. It's literally what we say. As long as we got, and you talked about the depth.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me. One of the guys that I really, really liked that I think a lot of Bears fans did was Kevin Hardy. Kevin Hardy is he's been around a couple of years, but he's playing with a motor.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing with an attitude, an edge. Like it seems like it was literally all or nothing for him. Like someone had a gun to somebody he loves in his family, and he's coming out. I mean, but the relentlessness that this dude had is like, you're on a mission, dude. Like, this ain't the same Kevin Hart who's been bouncing around the league for a couple of years. You're somebody different.
Right.
Talk to me about that. And could it be Eric Washington, the effect? Could it be playing with someone like Montez Sweat? What do you talk about him, and what do you think it is? Because this dude has been like insatiable when it comes to getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Hardy's been playing, like you said, like a man possessed. And I think sometimes what happens, Shawn, is two things. One, you find yourself in a room with other guys, and because of how they're playing, it somehow energizes you, or because of how they're playing, you see what you were doing differently being done in a way that you didn't see before, and it kind of clicks. And in conjunction with that is the coaching staff. It can also be the coaching staff and how it's being taught, what's being asked of you. You know, coaching matters. You know, I've heard someone say that once, a time or two.
Me too.
You know, but yeah, it matters more so, you know, developmentally all across all sports. I think professionally in football, probably more so than the other team sports, coaching really matters because it is so compartmentalized. You've got so many moving parts that have to work in conjunction. And guys need to know what they're doing. And you could have a guy that played the same position at a different team, but it was taught differently, or what was asked of him was asked differently, or what was expected, or who he played next to, or how he was energized, or how he, you know, was synergized by the guys that he plays with. And I think with Hardy, you're seeing a combination of all those things. I think it's the coaching staff. I think it's what's being asked of him. It could be the hits principle. Somehow what Eberflus is saying, it connects with him. Maturity, and not saying that he's immature, but just growing into your role as a professional, you know, and all these things can coalesce, and it hits at the right time. It's not rare. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not rare. It's not unheard of for players 6-7 years into their professional career to all of a sudden it clicks and they become monsters. You know, they become, you know, Kurt Warner. I mean, how long did it take him? And all of a sudden the guy's in the Hall of Fame. Like, there's no way in the hell you told me that guy's stocking shelves was going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I mean, in the NFL, let alone win a Super Bowl, let alone go to several, take two different teams, and then on top of all that, make it to the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's not rare. You know, you look at Jim Plunkett. He was a first pick overall for the New England Patriots. People forgot he was in the league. He's a backup on the Raiders. Next thing you know, he's leading the Raiders to 2 Super Bowl wins in the 80s. So it's not unusual that it happens. And I picked 2 quarterbacks. That's one of the tougher positions, but it happens all across the positions. It really does.
Yeah.
Some guys may be in Canada for a while, then they come to America, and all of a sudden, boom, you know, we forgot about them. Some guys come from other leagues, UFL. There'll probably be a player or two from UFL who will blow up in a couple of years, you know. So yeah, man, I think with Hardy, it made everything with Daniel right now, everything may be clicking, and that's great. That's good for us, you know. It's good for him, good for us.
That's great for us. And guys, we're joined by Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago, talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. And it's great for us. And you know what? It's great because we love seeing those stifling and suffocating defenses. All right, we're used to that. You know, where how many times do you see a quarterback stand and all of a sudden you just see him cringe because, oh shit, here comes a dude on a twist I didn't see, and his dude's coming 100 miles an hour, and it wham. You know, and those are the type of things that we're used to. Those are the type of things that, you know, that is part of our DNA, like just having a great defense and having more. But now the depth is there. All right. You got Gervon Dexter, who's taking a big step. You know, you've got Montez Sweat, you've got Billings, you've got DeMarcus Walker, but then you got Booker. All right. We just drafted this kid who's had a pretty good offseason. Then you still got Zach Pickens. Then you got Hardy. It's like, whoa. This is what we talked about when we talked about waves of defenders. So now your D-line is fresh, but that offensive line, because they don't rotate offensive lines as a rule generally, unless someone gets hurt. You don't rotate offensive linemen. Now you got fresh guys coming in every other series or something like that. That's going to serve us pretty well this whole season moving forward. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited. 12 days away now, 12 days away till opening day. For us anyway. Talk to me about where you think this defense is as a whole. All right, with Eric Washington, with that D line, with the relentless, with those linebackers, with everybody being in the same system. For most people for the third year, some for 2, some for 1. Right. Or talk to me about this defense and how dominant you can see it being. Is it like the 06 team? Do we dare, even say like close to the 05 team? What do you think this defense? How dominant can this defense be?
Yeah, several weeks ago I was just driving. I was thinking about what makes a team dominant, what makes a team special, memorable, iconic, and what made the '85 Bears so special. And I say those 3 linebackers. And the defensive line, without a doubt, because you've got a couple Hall of Famers on that defensive line. But those linebackers were extra special because they could cover in, space. Singletary was decent, but Wilbur Marshall was the best, one of the best linebackers. Like in today's game, he would be he'd be a high-priced linebacker. I mean, you have to watch. He's phenomenal. His ability to change direction, his ability to strike players in space, make great tackles, be able to blitz, just everything. And Wilson as well. The secondary was solid, but not. And the safeties were a little extra special because of that type of defense and that era where the safeties could tee off. I don't know how effective our safety. I don't know how effective the '85 Bears safeties would be in this game, this day and age. They still be good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they'd be as effective per se.
It'd be a lot lighter in the pocketbook after all them fines.
Possibly, but I always say athletes adjust to whatever's asked of them, so there's a possibility. But what was special with those 3 linebackers? Those were special linebackers in their front line. And I look at the Bears in the early 2000s. Again, kind of the linebackers were special. We had Hall of Famer and Briggs is Hall of Fame caliber. But really what made that defense go was, the interior, I think, of that defense. The cornerbacks were nice. Secondary was solid. Mike Brown, when healthy, made it a little extra special. But really with Tommy, that really, and then having Alex on the outside and guy from Indiana University. He used to date Sanan Lathan. I remember everything but his name right now.
Ogunleye?
Ogunleye, thank you. Everything but his name. Yeah, Adewale and having those guys on the side because they weren't necessarily they created so much up front because of the style of defense that they had. It was like collectively as a team, everything just meshed well with that unit. But obviously, again, the linebackers probably stood out a little bit more, Urlacher and Briggs especially. So I look at this unit, and I think this one's a little different than both of those. I think it'll be great in its own right. But this is the best, deepest secondary I've ever seen in all my years here in Chicago. I mean, like
I concur.
Your nickel corner. It's an all-star potential dude. Yeah. Your backup in Terrell Smith is like your best 6 man coming off the bench. Obviously, I like both corners have the ability to be locked down. These might be the best, most complete physical and ball hawking corners that we've had, and that can cover if they need to one-on-one. I don't feel afraid if those guys have to be man up on someone. I really don't. And the safeties, and now even with Bayard, I like him a little bit better, more complete. Than Eddie. Eddie was really good ball hawking, but you lost a little with run support. Here, I don't feel there's any loss at all. And Brisker's a heat-seeking missile. He's as good as any safety that I've grown up knowing with the Fensics and the Durisons and so forth, and the Todd Bells. He's kind of an amalgamation of all those guys. So that secondary is extra special, and you saw it so much so that a guy like Reddy's probably not. He has to hope he can make the practice squad. A guy like him would have 2 years ago. He's probably a nickel cornerback starting. You know what I mean? Coming in. So, and the linebackers are still really good too. And they get lost in the wash sometimes, but those guys, Edmonds and Edwards, it's hard to pass. Like the back 7 is going to be special. So what we need is up front. And that's to your question when you talk about the defense overall. If there's any quote unquote weakness or if there's a kryptonite, it's more so a consistent pass rush, but pressure. I've always said that pressure means more to me than just getting sacks. because that pressure can force a turnovers, and you really want that's what you want. You want the ball back. So Gervon needs to be consistent. Yeah, there are times when he gets his pad levels low, he is hard to stop, and it's like, man, dude, he's a load, But then when he starts playing high, he gets stymied. It stagnates, and you don't get the same kind of rush. And we still don't have a consistent pressure coming from the outside on the right side of the defense. It shows at times, and Booker looked really good, but we got to see him do that against first-team guys. You know what I mean? Good starters. Yep. Same thing with DeMarcus Walker as far as providing that consistent. So, and again, I'm parsing here. I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'm being really minute with my critiquing. I think it's still very good. I think everything I said, even with the
fact that you have to be so picky shows how much talent we have. Like, we got to find something, because it's just in our nature. We got to find something to bitch and moan about and critique. And when you don't, when you're separating grains of sand, that shows, holy cow, that this is really, really talented squad.
Unequivocally, I think we're at worst a top 7, top 10 at worst. I mean, that's like a bad season. That's because the offense maybe is struggling. The defense has to carry more of the load, and they're getting extended. That's at worst. At best, I see. I feel we're top 3, and I'm trying. Sometimes it's hard for me to remove the. It doesn't seem like it's hard for me to remove the Bear fan because I'm always critiquing, but it really is. I really have to keep my Bear fandom subdued and really be as objective as I possibly can. And it's hard not to let the fan, but I like when I look at it, I'm not my dude. Like, I'm really hard pressed to not see us be top 3 because, and I'll say this, even with the little bit of the weakness to talk about on the defensive line to some degree, because we're really good against the run. I'm not really worried about that. It is that consistent pass rush because our offense is so much better potentially than it's ever been. That's going to take a lot of pressure off the defense. So the defense can play a lot more unfettered. You look at what Kansas City has done since they've won their Super Bowls. The last 2 they've won a little bit differently. The offense, that last year, the defense really carried that team a lot of ways. I'm not saying that Mahomes, I'm not knocking Mahomes, so don't go there.
He wasn't on the bandwagon for a joyride, no.
No, not at all. Mahomes is a closer. He's the ultimate closer right now, bar none. But, Chris Jones, that was a big reason why they won that Super Bowl. Yep. A big reason why they win a lot of games, that they won a lot of close games last year. And that secondary is really shown to be a young, upcoming secondary. And the defense, like, it's just get better. And again, coaching matters because the defensive coordinator hasn't changed. But the Super Bowl they won the year before, you could say it was more because of the offense, some year, or more Mahomes-laden type kind of stuff. The defense was there, but Mahomes was making plays. The guys were making catches, that kind of stuff. Travis Kelce, and so forth. But because the offense can put so much pressure on you, that defense didn't have to. The defense can just play one side. They don't have to worry about playing offense, or you don't have to worry about playing the run and the pass. They could just play the pass a lot of times. That's how the Colts won their Super Bowl when they had Peyton there. It's really that offense puts pressure on you. And I think the Bears here, the offense isn't going to put pressure on you so much this year. It will as it progresses, but offense is going to be good enough that the defense won't have to be overextended. And because of our special teams, the punter we got, the ability to place that ball, where he wants to and use field position to our advantage, that type of complementary football where we talk so much about but we have never seen, we're going to see it in all 3 phases: special teams, offense, and defense. And that's why I think this defense can be a top 3 defense, because they won't have to be overextended.
Guys, again, we're joined by Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago, talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Yeah, people keep forgetting about that 3rd phase, man, and the great stuff this guy can do. And I'm looking forward to, having people pinned inside the 10. I mean, when you got to come out of the shadow of your own goal line, sphincters tighten. It's just, from offensive coordinators to the quarterback to the receivers to the running back, like offensive linemen especially. I can't have a hole, because if I have a hole, it's a safety, and we got 2 points. We got to kick the ball away. So there's a lot of good things that happen when you pin people in. One bad snap, all these bad things can happen for offenses. So you know what? If it's the law of averages, the more you get a team pinned inside the 10, the more chance you have of having that good stuff if you're the kicking team, as opposed to that offense. So this dude's going to be an awesome weapon. So now let's go back to the 800-pound elephant in the room is Caleb Williams. How have you liked his progress to this point? And where do you think he can go this season?
Yeah, they probably should have just drafted Jaden Daniels. I don't know if this Caleb guy's going to work.
Yeah. Should have drafted Austin Reed with the number 1 overall pick.
Austin Reed's the number 1 overall pick. Caleb is epitomizing in a lot of ways, at least at this, what we've seen so far, what you want your franchise quarterback to encompass, and that's off the field and on the field. And it's a maturity that is 360. It's a circular maturity. There's you don't see where there's a crack anywhere in there. And I'll say this: I early on last year when he was playing, and you're looking from afar, you don't really know. You have an opportunity to hear him talk or speak or react to things, and you're looking from afar. It was easy to come across thinking like, okay, how much is he focused on the team? How much is he focused on his career? And then the Notre Dame game, I never really knocked him for in terms of his reaction, because I felt like, man, that dude felt like he was probably trying to get another Heisman. Like a lot of his hopes were dashed at that moment, it seemed, and that was a very authentic response to me. We see it in March Madness all the time. These guys' hopes gets dashed and they have an emotional reaction. So where I began to slowly change, and I was always open, it's just because I don't know the guy, I don't know the young man, but these are some questions. Where some of those questions began to be answered for me was when he did his stint on the pivot with those guys, with AC and Crowder and them, and he
from his apartment overlooking LA. That one,
yeah, that. But here's the thing: you find out that that's not the first time he had his own apartment. That he had his own apartment when he was in high school. That his parents like, look, anybody that's got kids and you raised them, how you don't want your kids on their own before they're ready. It's a scary problem. So many things could go wrong. And there's a liability issue, Department of Child Protection Services might get involved, all these things. But here he is, this young man, while in high school, had his own place. And the fact that his parents knew he could handle that said a boatload to me as a parent myself. It's like, okay, that's different, and so his maturity has been there. We just didn't know it, and we've been able to see that through Hard Knocks and through other times, all the different interviews during the combine, all that kind of stuff. And then when you watch during Hard Knocks, you see how easygoing he is, how effortless it is for him to engage, talk to whomever. That he is not a presumptuous young man. He assumes in terms of his own capabilities. He assumes that he's going to play well because he's going to put in the work. So it's an earned assumption. It's not a narcissistic assumption. But he has ability to mesh in with everyone. And again, it wasn't just us. And I say us, I mean the fans outside or analysts outside, even the players, even some of the players, like, oh, we'll see what happens when we get into the locker room. Because of how they felt about his predecessors. So for him to come in and to show that maturity, I think that is phenomenal, and that's going to play out on the field. In terms of him on the field, he has shown that special quality. We've always talked about him having the arm talent. That was never the issue. Some of the concerns that we have are still there, but that's him being a young quarterback. He still has to get rid of the ball a little bit sooner. But that's going to come with time. And I just don't want him to fall in love with his ability to play outside the pocket, because it's easy for him to do that because that's part of his game. He's been doing that his whole life. And so that's his easy default. Some people's default might be running. His default is I'm going to move left, right by a little time, and then I'm going to wing this. If I'm going left, I'm going to square my shoulders and throw it because I know I can. If I'm going right, I'm going to plant my foot when I need to and let it rip. We saw both of those things happen in preseason. So that's there. That's not going to go in. That's part of his game. The growth part is going to come from playing more in rhythm with the offense. And again, that's just going to come with reps, time, competition. But that defense we have is going to make him better sooner. So yeah, I feel that the sky's the limit with this young man. And I just hope that the Bears do everything they can to continue this growth. And again, I go back to coaching matters. This coaching staff, Shane Waldron, what they're doing with the offense. And I prefaced it before when I talked about this was the best, deepest quarterbacking room that I've seen. All those guys understood what they needed to do. I felt confident watching all of them play. I wanted to see more of them. I wanted to see more ripping. I wanted to see More Reeves. I initially was like, okay, are they gonna let Bajan play? Okay, he played. I'm like, all right, that's cool. All right, good. He's shown me that he's progressed. And for Bajan, it's important because it's a new system. I mean, it's new for everybody, but he was here with the previous regime. You know what I mean? So sometimes, getting rid of what you learn as a professional in your, infantile, in your infancy, your first season. Now you got to wash all that, come
Well,
right
luckily
back.
it wasn't a new system. They had maybe a couple different concepts, but the basis was the same, both West Coast stuff. So
Right.
well, you probably just had to learn like new terminology. Like instead of this, it's called this. Like, oh, okay, cool, I get it. But Bajan, to me, he looked so
polished,
comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of watching his college tape.
Yeah.
All right, where he knew he was the man, he was the shit. I'm gonna throw 3+ touchdowns this week just because I'm Tyson Bajan. And he had that, not arrogance, but that confidence that, it's oh, don't worry, you want to do this? All right, I got you. Hit, boom, touchdown, corner of the back of the end zone because that's the soft spot. That whole thing, watching him, he looked, his feet were never happy. He was just calm, cool, collected, and it just showed that, it's tough. He got through that first year. He started 4 games. It went 2-2, and now, dude, he is comfortable. I'm so happy. I wish for him a career like Chase Daniels or better, one monetarily too. But I think if he stays here, like, he'll never get a shot unless Caleb gets hurt. And there may come a point in time where another team says, a contract, they're like, hey, we want you to fight for our starting job. And I hope it's not for 4 years down the road, or 3 more years, whatever. But I love what he's doing. I love him as a backup. Man, I have no qualms whatsoever if Caleb goes down that, oh my God, the season's over. No. This dude he can carry us. He can win us. As we saw last year, he was 2-2. This kid is so. And then Austin Reed. I mean, we saw him, like, he set a lot of records at Western Kentucky too. You know what I mean? And you saw the confidence in him. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. But yeah, that quarterback room has me really, really excited because the drop off is still noticeable. But man, it's the feeling you have when Tyson goes in. It's like, oh, it's Tyson. We're good, and that we haven't had that feeling in a long, long time. So I'm fired up, dude. I can't wait till week 1. It's going to be awesome. It's especially if we handle the Titans, because remember they got don't they have Callahan? I think is their head coach, the kid for the guy from Cincy, which may be one of the reasons why we are able to handle Cincy. That's all Joe Burrow knew was Callahan as his play caller, and now he's gone. So we have to keep an eye, out on them. I see how they do if they fall for a while. But I think this Tennessee team's going to be a formidable one to start.
Yeah, it'll be a challenge. I know a lot of people have said that I'm always negative and that I'm always rooting for the other team, or it seems like I'm not rooting for the Bears to win, or I'm not saying the Bears are definitively going to win. I've lived here too long, so I'll just say that. But no, again, objectively, when I look at that team, again, you mentioned Callahan, who's the son of Brian Callahan. I'm sorry, Bill Callahan. Excuse me, the son is Brian, the dad is Bill, and Bill's a longtime NFL coach. Took the Raiders to the Super Bowl, lost to Gruden in Tampa Bay, but I think they had it in. He just coached the Raiders the year before, so he pretty much knew everything they were going to do. But that being said, I think one of the best acquisitions that the Titans made was getting Bill Callahan to be part of that coaching staff. And you look at Tyler Boyd coming over, who already knows the system, who was a receiver with the Bengals, to fill in his role slot. Calvin Ridley, who coming back from after being gone for a year, still put up over 1,000 yards and 76 receptions and I think 8 touchdowns. And that was considered like a so-so kind of year. You look at the offensive line, what they've invested in over the last couple of years. They got Cushenberry to be their center. They drafted Skoranek from Northwestern last year, and this year J.C. Latham. Not to mention the holdovers they had on a pretty good line as it was already. And you look at the change in running back. Now they're more explosive teams. There's no more 3 yards in a cloud of dust or 3 yards of Derrick Henry carrying you for about another 20 yards with the stiff arms. Now you've got Pollard and Tajay Spears. And you've got more explosive guys who can run and catch the ball. So when one or the other is in the lineup, you don't know if they're running or passing because they both are very complementary players. And then you looked at a young tight end, and I apologize, I'm not going to pronounce his name. I have to see it in front of me to pronounce it. But he is one of the more athletic, young and up-and-coming tight ends. So they're really – and then I didn't even mention Hopkins because he may or may not play, but they have him as well. And Will Levis, his first game as a pro, I think he threw 3 touchdown passes to Hopkins. So, there's some – and you have a guy who's played some already in NFL and has won some games and been in close games. So he was athletic, young, strong quarterback. He can also run with the ball. So there's another element that we have to consider too. So I'm not saying any of these things means we can't win. I'm saying don't go in thinking that it's just a crappy Titans team. It's a different team. And guess what? Nobody's really seen them play. Preseason doesn't count as much because everybody holds stuff back. So we don't really know what they're going to look like. It's going to be like, the first time 2 boxers get in and haven't seen these other play. It's going to be a lot of jabs thrown until the team is ready to really be able to win it and give that knockout punch. And their defense, it's not a snoozing defense either. There's no weakness on their defense. And I was at the guy, L'Jarius Sneed from Kansas City is one of their lockdown corners. The other corners they have are very solid. The secondary is solid. I mean, Byard used to be on the team. They let him go. So they felt good about letting him go. So that means that they should be okay. They feel they're okay in their secondary and their safety position. And the defensive line, Simmons is a handle. Jeffrey Simmons is a handle to hold, man. I mean, he's going to be difficult to block. And if there's any weakness on our offensive line right now, arguably it's the interior to some degree. So yeah, it's not going to, it's going to be, hey, we have them at home, so that's to our advantage, but it's not necessarily going to be a cakewalk. But then again, Will Levis, he's a young quarterback, a couple of pick 6 that can change the game around like that. So yeah, they're gonna come after our young quarterback just like we're going to go after their young quarterback. And the best defense that can make the other team blink is probably going to win this game.
But all the things that you said about them, you can say about us too. And that's the awesome part. Like they haven't seen us, right? And I know the system's the same, but they didn't open up that playbook. They damn sure didn't. In that long pass to Rome Odunze, that was on a scramble drill, so that wasn't actually the route. The route he going to the sideline, turned it up, and that's when Caleb hit it. So and that's what makes this week 1 game so exciting. Yes, like because like who's gonna show their ass first? Like all right, you got this concept deep, because we're like you said, everyone hides stuff, and it seems to me, I get the feeling that Caleb is like chomping at the bit. And because he wants to open it up, because you got receivers that you could open it up with, but you can't do it in the preseason. And I think I said before, like as long as Shane Waldron has told him, look, master that short game, all right, master that short game, and you will become a superstar. Because if you master that short game and things go wrong, we saw what he can do in a scramble drill. Him and Rome Odunze, we didn't get to see Allen or DJ Moore with him in a scramble drill yet, but Lord have mercy, if you master that short game, all right, we're going to win because of you, not with you, not because of you early on. Just let it develop. If he's cool with that, wow, this offense is going to, dude, we're putting up 30 points. We weren't even trying. I mean, like I was like, we're going to put up 30, boom, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. Like goodness gracious. I mean, 30 points is not going to be a pipe dream for this offense, especially with his defense and the punter giving us shorter fields. 30 points a game is not going to be so far-fetched to average that. Dude, that'd be crazy if we can get there. I say we will.
Crazy year 1, but I think 24 and a half is attainable.
I said 26. I was thinking 26. I'm like, they'll get a couple 27. I said 26 points a game is where I thought they would average. And wow, again, it's going to be one hell of a ride, man.
If you're only giving up 12 and a half and you're scoring 24 and a half.
No, if you're only scoring 20 and you're giving up 12. Let's see. I'm not a mathematician, but that's a lot of wins.
That's a lot of wins.
That's a lot of wins, man. Hey, Glenn, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, let everybody know where they can find you online.
Hey, like you said earlier, you can find me on Twitter, because I don't ever refuse to call it X. You can find me on Twitter, or the otherwise known and named as X. at Real Glenn Morgan at True Glenn Morgan. For the time being, for the next month, NBC Sports Chicago. We'll have a moment, and just here on the friendly airwaves, so to speak, streaming waves of shows like yourself and other shows on YouTube and what have you. So yeah, man, just out and about, just type in Glenn Morgan, GLYNN Morgan on YouTube, and I'll pop up there.
Cool, man. I'll reach out, man. I'll reach out as well, because I know you. Is this the last week for?
No. We got until the end of the month, until the baseball season's done. So September.
Oh,
3rd,
okay, yeah.
Technically September 3rd, but actually for football night in Chicago, this is next week's the last week for football night in Chicago.
Okay. All right.
Or no, I'll take that back. This week's the last week for football night in Chicago. After this week, it's gone by the wayside. So, but we'll still be commenting here and there, and I think I'm pretty sure the Undercenter podcast might still be doing some stuff as well. So may pop up in there, and Ken Davis and those guys, and Josh Schrock, those guys, and Alex Shapiro, those guys do a great job. So if you get a chance, check them out too.
Excellent, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it, man. You have a great day, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Oh, without a doubt, bro. Appreciate you. Hey, I still gotta get lunch from you, man.
Yo, yes. When you came out, I'm thinking, what am I doing Thursday? We definitely got to go back and hit that spot up. We'll talk soon, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye. Guys, that's Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago. Great stuff, man. We could have been talking for another hour, man. Just football talk with good football people. I love it. And we'll have him on as much as we can as time permits, as his schedule permits. It's the last week of NBC Sports Chicago. As he said, this is the last week of football night in Chicago. So the end of an era. All right. Comcast Sportsnet was turned to NBC Sports Chicago. All things, we must all evolve. Things change and everything, and we got to roll with the punches, or definitely get left behind. Crazy. But man, that's Glenn Morgan, good friend of the program. Love having him on. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I can't be more excited. I can't hide my excitement. Watching Bears highlights, the hair on my arm stands up. Seeing the interception by Reddy Stewart. Sacks of the quarterback by Kevin Hardy. Velus Jones Jr. with a beautiful outside zone, or he cuts back. All that stuff, man. And this is the second team. These are guys who are fighting for spots and aren't going to get a lot of time, or were even cut. So it shows you the amount of intensity that this team has, the standard to which that they hold themselves. All right. The first team holds the second team and third and fourth, and guys trying to make the team to a standard. So when you got first and second team, that standard is high. And it's about time. It's about time. I think back, I don't know about the 18 team. I think they just were a good team, but like that, back to that Urlacher team, like they had, and Lovey, the standards that team had. I mean, if you've seen it, I'm sure you've seen it on the internet, the Cardinal game where Lovey's at halftime, and he's saying, that was the first half. He goes, that's why they played two halves. He goes, you come out the second half. He goes, and you show them what we're about. Like, holy cow! Like, it's that type of thing is awesome. That type of thing is awesome. And Armando Jr. says, I'm excited, but still tempered. I remember being all in back in 2019 for them to fall flat. Now I hear you. And I hope that situation doesn't arise again. I hope they don't fall flat again. I hope that they're able to really take off. And I feel that Caleb is ready to do some really good things because they're holding him back. All right. This is preseason. They definitely not wanting to show anything. Definitely don't want Tennessee to see anything. They didn't want Houston to see anything since they played them, and I feel that there's a lot more weaponry. By that, I mean great play calls, play design in their arsenal, and they just have to sit on it. And now they don't have to sit on it anymore, and that's cool. So we're going to find out. We're definitely going to find out how it all plays out in the end, because as Bear fans, it's been a long time coming. Junior, you talked about 2018 and 2019. like, oh my God, it's the excitement for 2019. And man, we were hurt. We were pissed. All right. Haven't been to the Super Bowl since the 06 season, January of 07, February of 07, excuse me. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's going on, 18 years. Yeah. Far, far too long. So, man, great show, man. 2 hours. Well, off the dub, plus 68 of preseason. Yeah. Well, a lot of it had to do with the defense. What they have, 3 pick sixes? 3 pick sixes? You take 21 points off of that, that's 47. That's okay. That's about average. But 68 plus 68 in the preseason? But off the dub, but that's the intensity, that's the standard that I'm talking about. That this team has set, the starters have set, the veterans have set for the youngsters, for the newcomers. And dude, that's awesome. That is awesome. 68 plus 68 in the preseason is unheard of. And I love it because it's our Bears. Man, you're right, man. Off the dub, because Off the Dub says we're plus 68 in preseason. If we're holding back, OMG, bear down. Yeah, bear to freak down, man, because it's going to be one hell of a ride. Like I said, it's going to be one hell of a ride off the dub. Well, listen, guys, 2 hours is coming and gone. I want to thank Glenn Morgan for coming on, talking football with us. Great conversation. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, all right, and see where his next stop is in the sports world, in the media world as well. I want to thank him. Great stuff. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in and keeping this chat lit. All right, Patty and Jeremiah and Junior and Off the Dub and Cornelius and Shawn and Black Diamond in the house. He came in a little late, but I told you people were coming in right around 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? All you guys who stopped in, I truly appreciate it. Levette, King Booker World, and obviously Jay Grizz started off getting in early. Mr. Charles Johnson was in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Ant Mass. This is all you guys. I appreciate it. Please don't, if I forgot your name, please forgive me. I do appreciate your love and support. So, for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guys, have a phenomenal day. It's a little cooler here today in Chicago. What's it supposed to be? Only 85. So down from 99 yesterday here in Chicago to 85. Beautiful, beautiful day. Get out there, enjoy it, have fun with your peoples. All right. And like I said, let your loved ones know you love them, because that death thing is very final. The finality of it can be overwhelming. All right. We'll replay this tonight at 6 o'clock. So if you missed it, tune back in at 6 o'clock. You'll be able to check us out. All right. For everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, listen, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. All right. We out.